All right, guys, it's your girl Tiff again. For those of you wondering what I do, I am a freedom fighting patriot. I am a anonymous freedom angel. It is a complete different sector of anonymous. For those of you who know about anonymous, you guys know it as a hacktivist group. However, within anonymous, the collective at large, there are different sectors within the larger group of freedom fighters. With that being said, I fall under the sector of freedom angels because I often used to counsel, and I say used to because I haven't had the need to do it recently, to counsel people to good health and etc. 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 So that's kind of where I came in. That was like my cup of tea, so to speak. I am a freedom angel. I help others heal and all that great stuff. So it's just my calling. With that being said, I'm a freedom fighting patriot. I've been doing it for over 35 years now. And I felt the need to jump up on here on YouTube and to basically kind of open your guys' eyes a little bit because I don't think a lot of you as citizens and or constituents, the way the politicians like to say it, right? Um, I don't think very many of you truly understand the ramifications behind what's going on currently. Under the current administration, they will do anything and everything in their power to take your weapons away. So, the shooting that happened in Texas was a black flag. For those of you who don't know what the black flag entails, it is a mass tragedy. In any mass tragedy, aka black flag, there are going to be casualties and victims. Period. It's basically the same thing. Casualty, victims. It's just a different term. And in this case, it happened that three teenagers were the ones that fell. And it's mind-boggling to me how these things can transpire and people to this very day don't see what's going on right in front of them. We have to empty out the public school system because they will lose thousands upon thousands of dollars if we all start homeschooling. And if parents, both moms and dads, become committed to their children's education. But this is not about education. This is not about, you know, seeing things in good light. Three young people lost their life in that black flag, aka shooting. You need to understand the inception of the Democratic Party. They were founded by the KKK. There is proof behind this. There is a documentary behind it. This is the Democratic Party. They are extreme left. They will use any issue and turn it into something that was nothing. Okay? But hear me out loud. Yes, it was extremely tragic that these teenagers had to lose their life, and there were a half other dozen that were injured. Absolutely, that is tragic. And my condolences go out to their families. Sincerely, it does. However, the current administration is utilizing this tragedy as a way to revoke freedoms and or rights pertaining to gun laws, which is our Second Amendment. And just in case y'all don't know, the Second Amendment is the way you and I or anybody else that we love defends themselves with a gun. Okay? And never mind you, I, or anybody else, but how do you think that the police department protects you? With taser guns, with actual 9mm guns. What does the military do? They fight for this nation. How do they do that? What does it entail? Guns and a whole lot of them. Apart from the infrared mask and things to utilize and see at night. But that's besides the point. The current administration is using these black flags as a way to restrict your Second Amendment, which is your constitutional freedom to protect yourself and those you love and your home. Now, what do you suppose is going to happen if the current administration not only stays in office, but if they revoke your Second Amendment. You know what that means? You won't be able to protect your house. You won't be able to protect your cars. You won't be able to protect yourself. Now, I know a lot of you will bring up, well, I don't have one and I'm perfectly fine. But you know what? Are you truly around people that you got to really, truly protect yourself? Or do you just go from university to job and then home? Because a lot of you people that live on the upside of town seem to think that because you are more fortunate, that you're not going to be put in some effed off situation that requires you to utilize a firearm in order to protect yourself or those you love, including your children. Now, this mass tragedy that happened in Texas, 3 teenagers were killed and a half a dozen others were severely injured in critical condition. The definition of a black flag is a mass tragedy with casualties. Now think about what I just said. The definition of a black flag is a mass tragedy with casualties. Who in this particular setting was the casualties? The 3 teenagers that are now currently deceased. And the other half a dozen that are alive but severely injured. This was the Democratic Party's way to try to take and steal your Second Amendment and your ability to fight for those you love and want to protect. Nothing more, nothing less. And not only did he use this tragedy in Texas, but 2 days later, there was another tragedy in California. Don't y'all get it? There is a pattern that this administration is doing to take your Second Amendment right and Castle Doctrine rights away. First, to understand this, you need to look up what Castle Doctrine is and the Second Amendment. Then you got to understand the process to which getting a firearm or gun is. Thirdly and lastly, to not have your weapons revoked, what has to happen? You can't register it. Because if you do, they do. It's just law of the land. If this administration wants to revoke your Second Amendment and Castle Doctrine, if you have had anything that has ever been registered, it's no longer yours. It belongs to them. And back, I think that was about 4 to 5 months ago now, he said, the American citizens no longer matter. We want the weapons for ourselves for what is to come. If you can't grasp what I'm saying there, you, my friend, need to do some heavy research and re-looking at your state of being, because then that means you are a part of the issue, not a part of the solution. Now, I'm not saying go wreak havoc or go fight or do this or go, none of that. I'm just simply saying use your logic. This black flag and the black flag from California are simply being utilized by the Democratic Party is being utilized to take your rights away. And while my heart certainly does go out to those families that were affected, that doesn't excuse what the administration is trying to do. It is sickening that they have zero remorse for those families and how they are so very quick to make it a political fueled issue. All I'm saying, at the end of everything, wake up, America. If you don't have guns, how are you going to protect yourself, your car, your home, your spouses, and your children? And hell, maybe even your dog and cat. How are you going to do that if they revoke your Castle Doctrine and Second Amendment rights and or restrict them? Because restrictions, there's no telling what they're going to pull. But I know one thing for sure and two for certain. They're going to utilize this against us. if the Democratic Party was started by the KKK, and this can be actually proven, do you truly think that they have good intentions for us? If this creepy ass dummy in the office said the American constituents don't matter, we want to repossess it for ourselves. Think about what I'm saying. That's all. Sometimes you have to speak up for those who are voiceless, because for those who are voiceless, they struggle to make it heard. And let me tell you something. The Castle Doctrine and the Second Amendment is the only way you'll be able to protect yourselves. Period.